Yeah, CSM, sorry, because you were saying CSM in your emails.
Yeah, because it's the same BA, CTFLA, CSM, isn't it?
Is it?
Yeah, I mean, the CSM here is obviously a
would it?
people manager as well.
Yeah,
but
City
Fly
is
is
not.
flying.
So-
Here you've got a team of 7 as well, which is why you need more people management skills.
So there are CSM opportunities at British Airways where you require 1 year's experience.
So within CityFly, yeah, not CSM. Sorry,
Yeah,
because when you say CSM, it automatically
You think CSM role, yeah.
it's London Heathrow because it's not even. They've just changed it because at Gatwick it was cabin managers, and they've changed it because they don't have a team at Gatwick either, do they? So there's slight variations.
But it's all there for you on a job scan, Bartek, as you know, so all information is on there.
Of course, yeah.
You can
So
look
you
and
think-
see whatever criteria you meet and you want to apply for, you've got the tools to do it.
Okay, so is there anything else that you'd like to add?
No, I've covered all of my bits.
So I think there was something about the plan between us. Or maybe I would need to say what sort of support would you provide me so that I can confidently pass the probation in 3 months.
Joe, do you want to answer this?
What I need from you, Bartek, is, as I've set out already, I need you to understand that I'm your own in-line manager. Things go through me. If you want different opportunities within the company, I'm more than happy to help, and this is my job, and I will help anyone do anything. However, right now, what I'd like you to focus on is safety. This is the point that we need to get you past probation, your safety. Our lines of communication need to change. You are not giving me timescales of what's appropriate for you. This also works for other departments, Bartek, as well. So it doesn't take sometimes, especially when other departments are doing favours such as shadowing, it's not something that can be done from 1 month to the next. Sometimes it takes a bit of advanced planning. Like, we're in February now, and I think they're already planning for May's training. So there's a lot of things that go into it, Bartek, and there's massive talks and little talks and all different kind of talks that make it all turn. So when I'm asking you to communicate with me, Bartek, it's because it's not just as simple as emailing one person, and there are different things in place, and you are a cabin crew member still in probation, so there are people that you cannot shadow at the moment because it is not appropriate. They deal with sensitive subjects.
So what do I say to Carlo then, and what do I say to scheduling?
I'll email Carlo and scheduling, that's fine.
Okay.
Yeah, and what I would say going forward is to offer support at the moment, have regular one-to-ones every month now for the next 3 months. So we'll look at your roster and have a look at when's a convenient time, and we'll sit down and we'll say to you, how's your month going, what's been happening, just genuinely a chat to see how you are and how you're doing and how your progression's going. Would you be happy with that?
I wouldn't really understand why we would need these chats to be scheduled, because this is as simple as me saying the email. How is everything going? Do you have any problems?
Well, that's fine. If you don't require that support, that's fine. It was only if you wanted it. But if you don't want it, Bartek, that's absolutely fine.
Is there any other substantial support that I could be provided with?
What kind of support would you like, Bartek?
On the letter,
what are you asking for?
On the letter that had been sent to me in January, you seem to be saying that your expectations are for me not to get any more developmental feedback. To which it's quite odd, especially compared with what Stephanie was saying today, that mistakes will be happening. This is just a learning curve.
What would you like me to ground? I can ground you and put you back into training if you like, if that's the kind of support you're talking about. Is that what you mean?
Yeah, so do you think I would require this support based on the instant feedback received?
Yes, there are different things with probation and different team members. People learn differently. Some people learn by reading, some people learn by writing, some people learn by doing. If there's something which you're not quite clear on, Bartek, that you feel you need to have additional help in, you need to let me know so that I can help you. But I don't know what your departments are, or where you feel you want to progress more, or where you could learn more, or where you can develop more. This is something you need to tell me and talk to me about, so that I can look into getting you help within those departments or those specific fields.
What I'm saying is, which this specifically relates to the probation matter.
Okay.
How could I ensure that I don't receive any more did not meet standards feedback?
The only thing I would say, Joe, it's your call.
Keep up to date with
ask CSMs on your flight if they'll give you some feedback. And then you can email Joe, and you can say, hi Joe, I've done 4 long calls this month. Here are my 4 feedbacks for this month. and then we can see obviously how you're performing out online.
You mean in relation to safety?
You could do safety, or you could do general as well. Safety is where at the moment, Bartek, that I would like to work on with you. That's where we have our little flaw, if you will. So this is where we need to work on. So keep up to date with the OMNs that are coming out. Read through your manuals. Take your walk arounds on the aircraft when you do some water rounds, and you're doing your toilet checks as well. Familiarise yourself with the aircrafts. We do want to fly on different variants of aircrafts. So it is good to keep it fresh with all of them. They are all very different. They do have things in different places. So utilise those things. Ask colleagues, especially when online, if things you're not sure of, Bartek, ask people. We're a team, and it's to help. We're all here to help each other. This is how we can move forward. And if there's something you're not sure of, you might get it where another crew member goes, I'm not too sure actually. I'm not too sure either.
It happens all the time.
And
then if they're not sure either, then you can go to the CSM. If they're not sure as well, you've got all the manuals to go through. And also, if there's a few of you then which are all missing a key piece of information you don't know the answer to, it's something you can flag up to me and go, on my recent flight, I wasn't sure of this answer. I asked another crew member, they weren't sure either. We went to the CSM, they weren't sure either. Because then there's something that we can look at to go, is there a little gap in the training where we can go, we need to cover that more with people because they're not understanding this, or it's not going in, or we need to give a lengthier session to it.
Going forward, Bartek, there is absolutely no reason now why for the next few months you will come to Joe and you'll have amazing reports from CSMs online and you'll go above and beyond. There's absolutely no reason why that won't happen. Okay, this is something, these are the conversations we have every day, Bartek. So it's nothing to feel too upset or concerned about at the moment, because this will absolutely not hold you back going forward.
So what do you mean by in your letter that they will not get any more developmental feedback? Do you mean in relation to safety or any sort of developmental feedback at all?
It's all taken on the time, Bartek. So if you look through the criteria it says for it, so as long as there's no other issues, no conduct issues, no performance issues, no patterns of lateness, no patterns of sickness, there are several things that go into it. That is my key area that I wanted you to pay attention to, because this is the one point where we've picked up and gone, okay, this is what we need to help Bartek with.
So
I cannot say to you that if you don't get any more safety not mets, you're going to pass your probation. That's not how it works, because you may get no more safety not mets for safety, but then there may be several other issues, Bartek. So let's concentrate. You do well, you progress, you're willing, you're able. Let's continue with that. Let's keep you positive and on the right lines. Let's get you through your probation. Then we can look at looking in other departments and what have you. But safety-wise at the moment, I just want you to concentrate on that. Keep doing the good job that you're doing on board. Keep putting the customers first. Ask questions when you're not sure. Ask me for things if you're not sure on things as well. Also, speak to your team members and your colleagues on board. This is what we're all here for, to work together to find out. But there's not one thing that I can say, if you do this, you're going to pass probation, because it's the effect of several different things.
I think I had a different question. Let's say that someone gives me instant feedback that they didn't smile enough in the cabin, so I didn't meet the hallmark. What happens then?
That would be a discussion held between me and you. If you didn't smile enough in the cabin, I'd be thinking, is Bartek okay? Is he going through any personal issues at home? Should he be at work? Should we be offline in a minute? Does he need to speak? There's so many different things that go around it, Bartek.
In your letter, you did specifically say that your expectations are that they will not be given any more developmental feedback.
Yes.
So my question is, what if I do get developmental feedback, for instance, did not meet safety on hallmarks?
That will be a discussion that will be had with you going forward on why it was issued, and that's something we could look at then. But at the moment, I would try and not look at that. I would look at positively now going forward. I would I'd be very surprised if you did now have any more after today. So I think you should now take it positively and think, if God forbid it did come to that, that's another discussion you and Joe can have together. Okay.
So coming forward, what in terms of a meeting? Do we have another meeting in April? Probation meeting in April? Or?
So yeah, if you don't want any one-to-ones arranged for us monthly, that's fine. You can contact me via email if you prefer, with updates or any questions that you do have. And then the next probation meeting will be arranged in April.
Okay. So my last question in terms of probation itself is, why did I get sent 3 letters about probation extension? The first one